Comic Book Only 19!
Hey! Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game of Thrones Rewind. I'm so excited to talk to you today. It was, I think, the best episode of the season so far. And don't forget to everybody out there, if you would like to talk to me and ask me some questions at the end, please be on Google Chrome and have your webcams ready. And make sure to speak up so I can hear you when we're doing this. Also, a big announcement, Epic History X-Men Volume 3 will be out on Memorial Day. We're pushing it back to Memorial Day because we have a friend of ours can do some extra. Yeah, a friend of ours, he just got off of Archer and he can do some extra animations for us. And we want to like put in some extra animations and make them look really awesome.
So you're spicing it up?
So we're spicing it up a little bit. So it's going to take a couple extra days. Memorial Day, Epic History X-Men, Vimeo on demand. It's going to be fucking sick. So check it out. And all right, so I think that's it. We're going to get started. There's so much to talk about today. As usual, I'm going to go through everything that kind of happened in the episode, and then we're going to open it up to questions. So without further ado, yeah, this episode to me was obviously the best episode of the season. There's so much that happened. There was such an amazing payoff. We'll get into that at the very, very end. We start off the whole thing with Sansa. She gets a letter from Littlefinger, and they meet up. They have a secret meeting in Mole's Town. And, that whole thing, again, I feel like, has Sansa learned nothing? Like, has Sansa learned nothing? Okay. First of all, you never call this guy out in the open, like never do that. If you want to fuck this guy over, you have to do it behind his back. You've got to poison him or something. And why not take the Knights of the Vale and just kill him? I mean, it'll be fine. Like, just like take the Knights of the Vale. What are you doing? You need these motherfuckers like so bad. And like, I continue to be frustrated with Sansa's character. It might be a personal problem. I know a lot of people out there disagree with me, but I feel like Sansa should just like figure it out for once. And then, he tells her that, the Blackfish, her uncle, has retaken River Run. And, she just completely takes that at face value. And it's like, oh, yeah, so my uncle, the Blackfish, has taken River Run. It's like, you're going to trust this guy? Like, you're going to trust this guy? Like, what you just did a whole monologue about how you don't trust him anymore. And then he gives you one little piece of information. And then you're like, oh, yeah. He tells you something you want to hear. And like, who knows what his ends are? Like, I don't know what his ends are. And who knows if, Littlefinger may or may not have sent the come and see letter, from the other episode. So, I mean, we don't even know exactly his involvement. And you're so right, Elizabeth. He is so out for himself. Like, nobody listen to this guy. Like, it's just like, you should have just gotten Brienne to like chop his head off and just taken those knights, dude. Like, I don't even know. Moving on, we have Arya. She is getting a second chance. She's getting a little bit better at doing her stick thing with the waif. I don't know. There's some people I was watching this with my neighbors in my apartment building, and yeah, some people were seeming to think that Arya and the waif maybe had some weird like lesbian tension or something going on, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of a thing that's happening. I don't know what that's about, but she gets her second chance, and she gets to go kill somebody this time. They're like, you gotta go kill somebody, and you gotta kill this actress. Go check it out. She goes to the play, and it's a play about what happened in season 1 of Game of Thrones. And it was hilarious. Like, that play was the best. That was so good, so well done. I really enjoyed it. I had so much fun watching that scene. And it cracked me up when Arya was like, oh, ha, ha, ha. But then it got to her family, and then how, like, they were trolling her family. And she got to see, like, what the public thinks of the Starks and, like, thinks what went down. And she knows what really went down. And she's like, super bummed on the Stark trolls, like Arya dealing with trolls is always funny. And I was also, there was also the gratuitous cock shot for no reason, and it wasn't even like a nice, like, it wasn't like a cock shot that you want to see, which was kind of disappointing. It's like, if you're going to do a cock shot, I would like it to be something that I would like to see, not like something.
Smash cut.
And it just seemed kind of like out of nowhere, and it seemed like I don't know why they were doing it.
Normally do that in a wide shot.
It was a little weird. I'm not gonna lie. I was a little caught off guard by it. I'm not against seeing a penis on screen. Just you got to use it correctly when you use it. So let's move forward. We are with Bran. He is still hanging out. He is witnessing how the White Walkers were made. And we see that the children of the forest it looks like they stuck an obsidian dagger inside the heart of one of the first men, and that somehow created the White Walker. It wasn't exactly the best ritual. Again, the rituals this season have not really wowed me at all with any sort of imagination. Like, so you put a dagger in someone's heart and then they're ice, dude? Like, I didn't see any ice. Like, you'd think you'd put ice something in there, but whatever. That's just me. But if you guys don't remember or haven't read the books, the Children of the Forest are the original settlers of Westeros, okay? And the Giants. The Giants were there too. But at some point, from Essos, you had the first men come over on the Bridge of Dorne, okay, at the bottom there. It was used to be a land bridge that connected the two continents. And they came in, they started cutting down all these trees, they started cutting down the werewoods, they were just bumming out the Children of the Forest like so bad. And so they had like 2,000 years of fighting the first men. Like, that's a long time. And within that time, the Children of the Forest broke the arm of Dorne with their sorcery, and they also tried to break the neck when they were forced more northern, and that created Mokalan and why it's like a swamp all the time. So that was a part of that whole situation. But eventually they had a peace and, all that sort of stuff. But I guess they created the White Walkers. It's a new piece of information that has not been introduced in the book, so who knows if it's canon or not. And yes. So yeah, I agree with you, Tatiana. Sabrina Age Teenage Witch does have better rituals. All right. Like you dude writers over there, like, please just pick up a book on witchcraft or rituals or anything. Like, do just the tiniest bit of research, like anything. Like, I'm begging you, like, do something. All right. So let's move on to the King's Moot. So we're back on Pike. And this scene, in the books, it was far more dramatic. It was way bigger. You had far more people coming forward in the King's Moot. Theon was not there at all. In fact, nobody knows that he's still alive. He's still kind of running around his reek, wherever he is. And Yara comes up, and she is the one that they're like, oh, you think it's going to be her. Like, oh, because she has like this really awesome speech where, at the King's Moot, what you have to do is you have to kind of show your worth and bring a bunch of treasure or whatever, show something that you're going to give to the Iron Island people. And what she gives them dumps out a bunch of like pine cones and bullshit. And she's like, hey, guess what, guys? This is what we've been getting for like a long time. Just pine cones and bullshit from all the reaving we've been doing. How about we just try to chill the fuck out? Let's get some peace going on. Let's rebuild ourselves. Like, let's make ourselves a better society. And people seem to be totally on that until Euron, the Crow's Eye, shows up, which is her uncle. And there's also another uncle, Victarion, but he's totally not in the show. But Euron shows up, and his brothers hated him because he's just like a total dick in the books. And man, I have to say that this casting for Euron is just not doing it for me, man. It's just not doing it for me. This guy Euron doesn't even look like he's that much older than Theon and Yara to me. Like, he kind of looks like, I don't know, he could be their brother or something. And he's definitely not as cool. Okay. Like, the thing is he's super not as cool. In the books, he's got like black hair and he's like really pale and he has this like one like really blue eye, and then he has like an eye patch on his other eye, and then under that, like, Theon has said that he has this black eye of malice. He's got an evil eye that he kind of keeps covered up. And this guy, he left after the big deal with the original situation with the Starks and the Lannisters and not whatever, I can't remember the name of it, but the Mad King fucking deal. He leaves after that, and he just sails around with his ship, the Silence, where everyone on his crew has had their tongue cut out. And like, according to him, he's been to like the smoking steppes of Valyria, and like, he's been to like all these different places. He's collected all these artifacts. And when he comes into the King's Moot, like, how he announces himself is he has this magic fucking dragon horn. Okay, this guy blows it. The guy burns up into fucking flames, into an ash for fucking doing this fucking horn, okay, which is like a really great way to introduce yourself. And he brings like sick tons of treasure, just like gold and fucking jewels. And he's just like, I'm going to bring you this motherfucking shit. And guess what? I got this fucking dragon horn. I found it on my fucking travels. It will make me be able to control dragons. Guess what? There's a bitch over there with 3 dragons. So I'm going to go over there and I'm going to use this horn. I'm going to get her dragons. I'm going to bring them back here. And then we're going to fucking take over everything. And that's why everyone's like, fuck yeah, Euron, even though he's not necessarily like, been there or whatever. And he's, So it makes so much more sense. I felt like this King's Moot was just like really quick, and it was kind of like, you know, it was a little disappointing.
What do you think of the
And
plan?
and I think like, oh my God, you know, so I did enjoy seeing the ritual of the drowned god thing where you have to be kind of like super baptized until you like
Yeah, that's cool.
kind of drowned a little bit, and then you got to cough it back up.
That was awesome.
That was a really cool scene, seeing that. I enjoyed seeing that ritual. But that's, you know, description from the books. You know, they didn't have to make anything up. But then, like, you know, when he gets up, he's like, "Oh, I'm the king. Let's go kill my niece and nephew." It's just like, what? Like, it's just, I don't know. I wasn't into that whole thing as much. I thought it was kind of a little dumb. And Yara steals like all the ships, like, which was awesome. Like, I love that she stole all the ships, and like that's super awesome. But he was just like, whatever, we'll just build some new ships. And it's like, dude, Pike doesn't have any fucking trees. Like, that's the whole deal. Like, Pike sucks. Like, there is nothing there. They can't farm shit. Like, it's just rocks and salt and like ocean. And that's why they reeve, is because like they don't have fucking resources. So like, I'm not sure how fast they're gonna fucking make this these boats too. Like, he's like, no biggie. It's like, that's gonna take a while to make a giant fleet, you know, I would think.
Yeah, it's like
You know, it's like, it wasn't gonna take 2 weeks for these guys to make some ships. Like, I don't know. I would be a little bit more bummed than he was. But
gonna go for it?
you know, and yeah, and then also he's like, oh man, I'm gonna go over there and make this dragon queen like be my wife. And it's like, that's assuming a lot. You know, like that's a big assumption, dude. Like, I mean, who's to say that you're not gonna go over there with your ships and then she's gonna like kill you and just take your ships, you know, with her dragons? Like, why would she want to marry you? Like,
Because of his big penis?
I don't know. Yeah, because of his big cock? I don't think so. Okay. Like, Daenerys needs a little bit more than that in her life, personally speaking. So, yeah, I'm not sure about this whole Pike situation that's going on. It's interesting. We'll see where it goes. I'm excited that Yara has fled, and I want to see more of Yara, just more Yara in general. She's the fucking coolest. She is the coolest bitch on that show, like, by far. Like, I love her. I love that fucking actress. You know, they really cast someone that's just so perfect for it. I believe her. She is such a fucking awesome bitch. All right, moving on. We cut back over to Essos, where we have Daenerys finally like talking to Jorah. You know, they have a moment, and Daria's hanging out, you know, and it's like, shh, boy toy, you know, I'm having a real moment with like my real dude I don't have sex with for some reason, but you know, we have a thing. And I love that she finally like gave him that forgiveness. Like, that was that was great to see that he got his deal, you know, where she's like, hey, you know, you better go find that cure, because like I want you back, you know. And it's like, and I kind of felt like maybe she was regretting not boning him, you know, because now she sees like what the deal is, you know, like he's devoted to her. And you know, it's a whole other thing about, you know, power is like, if somebody tries to fuck you over, like Jorah tried to fuck her over like a long time ago, you know, when she was like Khaleesi. And then he comes over to your side. Like, when a bad guy comes over to your side, like, they're with you forever. Okay. It's your friends that are going to fuck you over. So it's like, it makes no sense to me that she's being so down on Jorah, but I'm glad they're figuring it out. I'm glad they're patching it up. I have no idea whether he's going to find the cure or not. We'll see how that goes.
I hope so.
You know, I hope so. I love Jorah. I love that actor. You know, I love Ian Glenn. Like, he is, I've said it before, I'll say it again. He is a hot piece of old man ass. He is so great. It makes sense in the books that she wouldn't have sex with him because he's like a bear, and he's like big, and he kind of smells, and he's like covered in hair, you know, and he's like not cute, you know, but this guy's cute. So like, it doesn't make sense to me.
One character that you like to change?
Well, you know, I mean, as a lady, I like the changes, but it doesn't necessarily serve the story, you know. So we go back to Marine. We have Tyrion there, and he is like, man, we got to get some good PR in this business, you know. And he remembers when he was walking with Varys and seeing all those people listening to like the red priests, and he's like, hey, I got an idea, like, let's get religion involved, you know, like we need her worship, we need her obeyed. Religion knows all about getting people to worship and obey and manipulating people, so let's use that card. I loved this new red priestess. I loved the casting for her. I thought she looked so good. I loved her nose. Like, I just like thought she was the best. And her interactions with Lord Varys in particular, I thought were really fantastic. I thought that I loved him questioning her because, you know, if you don't remember, when he was a kid, he was sold and somebody, you know, cut off his junk and like put it on fire, and then like he heard a voice and like all this stuff. And the way that, she like already knew all that about him and then was like, I'll tell you the voice that you heard. And he was like, I don't fucking want to know the voice that I heard. I mean, Varys definitely experienced some motherfucking cosmic terror when he was a kid, and he does not want to know what the fuck that shit is. And I love the look on his face. Like, that actor did such a great job. Like, we're just like, oh, like, and it's great to see Varys kind of put in his place by someone for once, because that never happens. Mike, I totally agree. Varys is freaking interesting. Okay. I love him. I think he has like much more to do in the books. And I think he's, that's a whole other bag of cats, but I love Varys as well. So I'm excited to see where that whole situation goes. And okay, so now we go back to Bran. All right. And this is where Bran fucks up. And I don't know why old dude didn't tell him, like, hey, you're not just completely, like, some people can see you, like maybe he was leading up to it, but I felt like that's kind of like, if you're gonna do this sort of stuff, you should probably tell these people like the full rules of the game before you kind of, let them loose in your weird little cave. But he goes and he sees the army of the dead. He sees all the whites. And he sees the Night's King. The Night King's fucking sees his ass too, and fucking touches him. And I love it when he wakes up and the three-eyed raven's like, he touched you. He's like, no, I think he did. He's like, no, he touched you, dude. Like, shut the fuck up. I know he touched you, and they're coming, and like, we're fucked. Good job. So we're gonna cut away from that and back to the wall, where we have everybody, all the people. We have the Onion Knight, Tormund, Brienne, Sansa, Jon. Everybody's trying to figure out how they're going to take Riverrun, or how they're going to take Winterfell. Like, how are we going to take this shit? And, again, my frustrations with Sansa are just like, have you learned nothing, girl? Because she doesn't even mention the fact to anybody that, hey, the Knights of the Vale, like, they're down to help. Like, you should probably tell everybody that and let everybody decide. That's not your decision to make. You guys are in a pickle, and if you're going to be strategizing with everybody, maybe you should offer up that information. I don't know. Just saying. And also the fact that she does lie to Jon, and she's like, I heard it from Ramsay that my uncle took Riverrun. And it's like, what are you doing? You are going to get everybody killed, you dumb little girl. Like, what? To tell the truth. Like, why? You're not smarter than anyone. You've never strategized anything in your life. Like, why do you think just because you've been through some hardship, you know what the fuck you're doing? Because you've not once made a great decision, in my opinion. So I'm so frustrated with her. But then we see later on the funniest part of the whole season thus far is when that one shot, when they're sitting there and Tormund's like trying to give eyes to Brienne, and like, oh, look over at me. And she looks at him and he gives her that goofy smile, and she just looks away so bummed. Like, oh my God, I was dying. I need a gif of that. And I need a gif of that is the thing. I was looking actually online last night on my Giphy, and I was like, is the Tormund gif up yet? I'm sure it's up now. I'm gonna have to go. I text people gifs all the time. I have like over 200 gifs in my library of gifs in my phone that I'm constantly using. I'm like a crazy gif addict. So yes, I'm totally shipping Tormund and Brienne forever. I hope that she softens a bit to him, because I mean, honestly, like, I don't know why she'd be so bummed on it. It's like, you're bummed that nobody like wants to have sex with you and everyone's been mean to you your whole life. But then you have one guy who's like super down. Like, this is the first guy ever who's been like super down for some Brienne, and she's just like, whatever. And he is not a bad looking guy. Okay. Tormund Giantsbane, that actor is hot. Okay. He has been kissed by fire, and I am all about it. And I don't know what her problem is. Okay. Cause she should totally be all over that. I don't even get it. But, you're right, Katie. Brienne, she is so masculine that she likes the girly men, and maybe he's a little too masculine for her, but I know, just, beggars can't be choosers, Brienne. Like, or, you want to lose that V card eventually. Like, you deserve it. You guys should be together. Obviously girly men didn't work out for you the first time. So, I don't know. It's like being attracted to gay guys is not going to help you, girl. So get on that. I can't wait to see more of them. They're my favorite fucking part of the whole show. All right, so back to the wall, back to Bran. All right, so they're getting ready to leave, and holy fuck, this whole army has just fucking showed up in like 2 seconds. Like they must have been like a mile over there or something because they're there real quick. And it's just too late. And we've got all these zombies everywhere and they're coming in. We see Summer die, which I was really bummed to see. You know, I was like super bummed to see Summer die because there goes another dire wolf, you know, and it's just like, dang, you know, and it's probably more about visual effects than like storytelling of why he was killed, because they, you know, it's a lot of money to like get these dire wolves in the show. So like, we got to get rid of them, you know, we got to kill them off. So it was really sad to see him go. I didn't know there was a ton of other children of the forest hanging out. I was like, oh, where did they come from? But then they all get killed too. And there's, you know, this huge battle and we see Bran and he's back and he sees like a young Hodor. And I guess, you know, now that we've seen that the Night's King can see him and like there is interactivity like possible, that Bran isn't just like looking into the past, that he can possibly change it, you know. And oh,
that's cool.
My goodness, that whole, I mean, the hold the door, man. It's just like, fuck you. Like that shit was so sad. It was so sad. I was doing okay. So, okay, I was like I said, I was with my neighbors last night and my other neighbor, Dava, was like there too. And she's like, she was there and like, I was holding it together. Like I was like dealing with it. Cause like we were mainly with other dudes. So like, you know, I don't want to cry. I don't like crying in front of people. I find it kind of embarrassing. And like, you know, I should be more open about it, but you know, I'm working on it. And I was totally holding it together until Dava started crying and she was just fucking bawling. And then I started fucking crying, you know, and it was just like, oh, it was just, it was so sad, you know, and like Bran's the reason that Hodor like is retarded, like he's been retarded. And it's like so sad, but then like he's holding the fucking door and it's just like, it was such a good payoff. It was just an amazing payoff. But at the same time, I am really sad because I know that this is a payoff that's going to be in Winds of Winter. I don't want to spoil the motherfucking book. And so I feel like I'm so torn because it was so well done. It was so amazing. But at the same time, I do want to find these things out in the way that they're supposed to be found out, like from the original source material, and see like how it unfolds, like how it's supposed to unfold. And it's just, God damn it, George R.R. Martin is such a good fucking writer, man. It's just like, he's so good, you know, and that's why he's amazing. You know, it's just like all you people who like, just, man, take the time to read the books if you have the mental capacity to do it, because it makes you a better person to read books and it makes you smarter. And I think it's just good for your brain and it's just good for your soul. And it's just good for, you know, people need to read. I mean, I'm just shocked at like how people don't read books. Like, I think that's, I love you, Hodor. Rip Hodor. You're the best. The only change that I feel like I would have made to that scene was I would have had a lot less zombies kind of coming up, you know, because that felt like more like TV writing where there's just like 10,000 zombies and they're all over they're coming up the walls and and that's too many goddamn zombies for anyone to hold the door for, you know, like that's a lot of fucking zombies, you know, and it's like, and how far is Mira realistically going to get, you know, away? You know, if it was more like 20 zombies, you know, like he could hold it, you know, like if it was, you know, and I get that you have to, you know, truncate things. It's a television show, but I felt like that was a little cartoonish.
It was still cool. Right?
But it was overall though, I mean, it was beautiful. And that's the magic of George R.R. Martin, folks. Like that is the magic. And that's why you're here. This man is why you're here. You're not here because of these TV writers. All right. You're here because George R.R. Martin is a motherfucking badass genius motherfucker. And he deserves that respect, yo. So, you know, I love it. But I am also torn because I don't want the spoilers for the book. So it's a little awkward. It's a little weird. But yeah. So that about wraps it up for today. We'll see what happens next episode. You know, how is Mira and Bran going to like get away from this horde? You know, like, I don't know. She's like a little girl pulling a sled, you know, like, what are you guys going to do? Unless, I don't know. And there's also a lot of talk about, you know, I mean, if Bran can do all this stuff and like, it's a lot more interactive, then like, is Bran like, possibly Bran the Builder from, you know, the ancient stories that he loved hearing so much, what that old Nan would tell him, you know, is that a thing, you know? We'll find out. It's really exciting. So yeah, congratulations to Game of Thrones for having a really great episode this episode. This was really fantastic. I really enjoyed it. Way better than episode 3, which I just shit all over. That was just like, that was the worst episode. It was so bad I didn't even put it up on my YouTube because I knew that people were just gonna like rain down hate on me in the comments, and I just didn't want to invite that into my life. So yeah.
But this episode, last 2 have been pretty.
But yeah, the last 2, like they've been better. But again, it's like, going back to the Daenerys thing from the last episode, I was thinking about it and I was like, I'm wondering if it was a spoiler or not. But then I kind of was thinking more critically about it because I had sick brain last week and I wasn't really thinking that clearly. And yeah, she's not immune to fire. Like in the books, like Daenerys is not just immune to fire, and the Targaryens aren't immune to fire. Like it was a miracle. It was a one-time shot that like that happened. So, So it's like it was clever on the writer's part, but I definitely know that's not going to be in the books, and I'm excited to see how Daenerys figures out how to get the fuck out of the Dothraki bullshit within Winds of Winter. So, yes. All right, guys. So now's the time. If you want to get your questions ready, we're going to have Rich finding some people, have you guys smiling in. Let's talk about it. Tell me how you felt about the sad Hodor thing. Man, that was so sad. Let's get into some questions.
All right, we got Rebecca.
Who's up first? Rebecca, hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi. I've just got a question about. I was wondering if you think Sansa's going to turn on John. It seems like it's playing it up a little bit.
Who's going to turn on John? Say that one more time.
Sansa?
If Sansa's going to turn on John.
Yeah.
I think Sansa's just turning on herself. Like, I think she's just like she doesn't even know what she's doing. I'm not entirely sure that she has I don't know what her plan is, Rebecca. I'm so confused about Sansa. What are your theories? Do you think that she's going to turn on John? Do you have a good Sansa theory that will make me think that she's awesome?
I don't know. I think she's still being played a lot by Littlefinger. Just with that, like kind of, he's your half brother. And then she kind of was like, oh yeah, he is my half brother. So I don't know. I think she thinks she's kind of being all badass, but she's still being played by Littlefinger, even though he's sorry about what happened to her. Mm-hmm. And I think he's going to get her to turn on John, or she's going to want to be wardeness of Winterfell and worry about that. I don't know. I'm not hopeful about Sansa at all.
Yeah, me neither. I think that the whole half brother thing was odd, where it's just like, well, you still grew up with him, like you guys are homies, like it doesn't even matter. Like, what does it matter if he's your half brother? You guys grew up together. Like, what? Like, this guy's your only person. Like, oh man, poor Sansa. I just don't know what they're doing with her character. I hope that she figures it out at some point. But her moves have been very bizarre to me. I don't understand them either. And yeah, she is being played by Littlefinger, just like, man, just left and right. And doesn't even tell anybody that he showed up. It's like, tell everybody what's going on. Like, you don't know what you're doing. You're like a child still. Like, even though, you're horrendously tortured and raped, that doesn't mean that you know what you're doing, like, strategically,
What happened to that story when she turned all badass?
I just hate that she turned all badass and wearing black, and then it just turns into nothing, So, all right. Who's our next?
Tatiana online too.
Tatiana. Hello, Tatiana.
What's going on, girlfriend?
Hey. So, what's your question?
I just want to know where you think this show in general is going. Mainly because I just feel like, yeah, I agree with you that these last 2 episodes have been a lot better, a lot better improvement over the last, or episode 3, was it? That was like the really bad episode. Mm-hmm. But I'm just kind of feeling like this season in general has just been a lot of filler, and it just doesn't seem like it really has much of a direction going on. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on where you think it's going exactly, because I'm just a little confused about what the direction is for the show in general. So
I hear you. First of all, I do have to comment on your awesome pizza choker necklace.
Thanks.
Awesome. Second of all, I don't know. Like, I really don't know where they're going to go with this. And it bothers me as well. And this is something that I've been worrying about from the very get-go, especially seeing how fast they were going through the material when they didn't even have to do that. I'm just like, I don't know if they know where they're going with it is the thing too. Like, it's just like, oh man. Let me ask you a question. I heard somebody on Twitter had said, and I haven't confirmed this, I haven't done my Googling, but I heard that they may be shortening the seasons to 7 episodes versus 10 episodes. And I think that that's a thing. And someone was asking me, well, why do you think that they're doing that? And I'm like, well, because they don't know what the fuck they're doing is why they're doing that. Like they're seeing just how hard it is to do it without, the amazing, backbone structure of, really George R.R. Martin. It is really hard, dude. Tyson, the director over here, is telling me it is very, very hard to make a show like this, and I super appreciate everything they're doing. They make a 10-hour movie like every year. It's really intense, the amount of work that goes into it. But the reason that they were able to do that amount of work was because they had such an amazing structure. And now that they don't have that, I feel like it's really starting to show. And I think that what's going to happen with this show is because of its intense popularity, that they're going to make this show go as long as they can until it just kind of dwindles into kind of like,
definitely.
Until the ratings go down, they're just going to keep going with it. So it's like, it's a fascinating situation that's been unfolding.
TV history.
Yeah, it's a first in TV history to my knowledge. I can't think of anything else that's had to deal with this sort of situations. Yeah, I mean, I do feel bad for him a little bit. I do feel bad for him a little bit, but it's just like it's hard. It's hard. I love what they're trying to do, but it's all about George, man. It's all about George for me. So we have another caller in.
We got Lauren on.
Laura. Hello, Laura. How's it? Lauren. Sorry, excuse me, Lauren. Hello.
That's cool. Hi. So I want to talk about Daenerys. Not so much this episode, but last episode when she burned all the calls. Mm-hmm. That for me reminded me a lot of the Mad King and something that he would have done. And so I started thinking about where that could go, and maybe Tyrion's going to have to follow in Jaime's footsteps and, take her down, and maybe she's going to flip the switch and go evil. And I'm wondering your thoughts on that.
I love that idea, Lauren. Okay, I'm a huge fan of what is called a heel turn. This is something that I learned in wrestling. I used to be a big fan of wrestling, and that's when somebody decides to go bad, when someone is a face and they're like, you know what, fuck this, I'm gonna be a bad guy.
You're doing that
and well, The Rock did that, and it was like huge for his career, like huge. Like if he hadn't done that, he wouldn't even know his name. And personally, I want to make a heel turn in my career and in my life. I just want to play the villain so bad. And I think it would be super, it would actually make me more interested in her character if she did start kind of going a little crazy, because regardless of what her ideals are, I mean, she has been inbred a whole bunch. She comes from inbred stock. I mean, that crazy gene is in there. And a lot of times, especially with schizophrenia, that shit doesn't show up until your mid to late 20s, So it's like, she very well could go nuts at some point, and that would be interesting to see Tyrion having to deal with, oh, she's supposed to be this great, wonderful person that we all want to follow, but, shit, she's turned into a crazy person. I've got to deal with
serious
this.
Mood swings.
Yeah, some serious mood swings.
Well, and she already has this issue with forgiving people. That's kind of her thing, is she has no forgiveness whatsoever. Mm-hmm. So if she just gets fed up with how evil the world is and seeing all this sin and injustice around her, just getting fed up with it, and a cleansing fire to get rid of it all. I don't know.
I absolutely feel like the thing that is Daenerys's greatest strength and greatest weakness is her commitment to her idealism, and that's something that, people accuse me a lot of, as being an idealist, but I love ideas and striving for the best. But at the end of the day, we do live in this world that is not perfect, that you do have to deal with situations that aren't clean and have right and wrong answers and black and white, yes and no. There's a gray area for sure.
A lot of assholes too.
There's a lot of assholes. And we've seen her where she's so great at conquering, and she's so great at I'm going to break all these chains. But then when it comes down to actually ruling and getting down to the nitty gritty of management, that's something that she's not really interested in, and that's something where it's that's going to bite her in the ass. You do have to once once you instill the ideals and like you're reaching for it, you still have to deal with the mundane problems of everyday life. And I loved that when Tyrion had brought up last episode that, you know, she came and she broke the chains and all this stuff, but she did not offer them another way to make money. You know, if she had come up to them, to the slavers, and said, hey, I have a plan, you know, you got to stop this. I'm going to stop this, but this is what we're going to do, you know, instead, like that's a reasonable thing to do. You know, you can't just go in and ruin someone's economy and then expect them to not fucking hate you. You know, I mean, that's just basic 101 stuff.
Check out the chat window.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I would love to see an evil Daenerys though a little bit, but that's also a personal thing because I kind of want to be evil one day. So, and I also identify with Daenerys. So I don't know.
Scaring everybody.
Maybe I don't like not evil, but I don't know. It'd be fun to play the villain. It's like it's a fun role.
How about just in a park and then some kind of
Yeah, I don't. You know, yeah. My director is not down with me in my heel turn here. He is super bummed on this whole idea. Let me do some chat spotlight stuff here.
What's Daniel say?
Do you want to see Mokoro, the Red Priest that is with Victarion in the series? He is cool in the books. Well, I mean, I'd like to see, you know, Victarion too. Like, I would like to see the Greyjoys in general, but you don't really get to see them, and it's kind of a shame. I feel like it is kind of a shame. But it is nice to see more Red Priestesses showing up. I'm excited about that. And like I said, I do love this new priestess. Again, I don't believe she's in the books. I'm pretty sure she's not in the books, but I love her. I think that character is super sick so far.
All right, we got Elizabeth in window 5.
Elizabeth, we have a new caller. Hello, Elizabeth. How's it going?
Doing pretty good. How about you?
Good. So tell us your question.
All right, I'm just curious where Arya's story is even going. Is she going to go and do what the many-faced god wants her to do and suffer the consequences, or is she just going to do things again for her personal gain?
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the big question. I mean, that's the big tension in her storyline. And that's something that I too, like, especially in the book series, was just like when they asked her to throw Needle, you know, in the river. And I was like, oh, you can't throw Needle in there. Like, you got to keep your shit. You got to kill all those people. Like, what are you doing? You know, like, I didn't want her to let go of her past life, you know, even though part of me does want to see her become like the faceless man and like where that would go. But it seems to me that it wouldn't necessarily serve the story if she does become a servant of the many-faced god. And I'm not entirely sure how it's going to play out. Like, and that's something that I'm personally also like very fascinated to see. Because it's like, can you really let that shit go? Because I would have a really hard time letting that shit go, because I would totally want to go fuck some shit up if people did my family like that. And maybe she's just going to learn their secrets and like run off or something. But I don't know. I don't think that they would let her do that either. So it's like, it is a real point of contention.
I mean, they took away her vision before, so it makes sense that she would face awful consequences.
Well, what would you want to see? Do you have any...
I remember hearing something about her spirit going into her wolf, Nymeria, wherever she is at this point. And I don't know if it's going to go into that or if she's just going to serve the many-faced god. I don't know what's going to happen.
That's a really interesting theory, actually. That's a good idea, that like she could become a faceless man, but then like, you know, not tell anybody that she's a warg, and then warg into Nymeria, her wolf, which is still in the Riverlands. If you remember in season 1, Nymeria bit little King Joffrey, but they ended up killing Lady instead because she set Nymeria free. And Nymeria has become the main bitch wolf of like this ridiculous wolf pack that was just eating motherfucking people like in the Riverlands. Like, it's a problem. Like, Nymeria is a fucking problem. So if she could like warg into Nymeria and like take care of her business as the wolf, and then still be like a faceless man and be a girl with no name, that would be, I would take that compromise. I would take that compromise. That's a really interesting theory. I love that a lot.
Alvin in the chat.
Okay, let's go back to the chat spotlight for just a minute. Talk about Bran's Mad King theory. Okay, so there's a theory out there.
Is this a possible spoiler?
This may not be a spoiler. Who knows, whatever. It's up there with the Clegane Bowl. We don't know. But we hear that, the Mad King Aerys, Daenerys' father, he heard voices, and it drove him insane. So, like, what if it was Bran And like he was going back in time and he's just like fucking with Ares or something. Like, I don't know if he's just bored and he just like wants to fuck with somebody or if it has a purpose or something. And like, and what does that mean? Does that mean that like Bran like started all of this shit? And then if Bran is Bran the Builder, then like what the fuck? Like time travel shit gets so slippery so fast. Like I don't even know what's gonna happen. Yeah, the whole thing is just like, oh, you guys, you know, Jamie, you just should have really killed Bran. Like Jamie did the right thing. You should have killed Bran, you know, or something. Like what? 'Cause, like that's a super bummer if it turns out that he's like behind all of this. Another thing that I thought was really odd about Bran was when the three-eyed raven is like, you're not going to be me. You're not going to be me in one episode. But then in that episode, he's like, it's time for you to become me. And it's like, well, didn't you say you were going to be me? And then now you are me. And is that, I was a little confused by that line personally. I don't know what you guys thought about any of that stuff. Do you guys have any ideas about that? I don't know. I don't know. Burn them all, James. That's Ares' fucking deal in life. So, hey guys, we're just yeah. Any other? And yeah, we're gonna wrap this up pretty soon. Anybody else got any other questions? Throw them out in the chat log for us. I will say I was a little confused as to when everybody was leaving the wall. You know, like John and everybody. Like where I didn't know exactly where they were going, and I also didn't know. Is Brienne going to go to the Riverlands or not going to go to the Riverlands? Like, what's the deal with that? Because Sansa was like, you need to go to the Riverlands, and then she's like, I don't want you to leave you alone because you're a dum dum, and like you're a dum dum, and then they never really resolved that. So you know,
Guess we'll find out.
I mean, maybe I don't know. It'd be interesting. I think of all the places, if I had to bet money on where they're going, I would bet White Harbor.
What's in White Harbor?
White Harbor is it's I don't think it's too far away, but that's a place in the north, and they've been like down with the Starks, and like they were helping them out. Like they've helped them out a bunch of times, so I feel like they would be cool. They would be cool people. Okay, James, the Marjorie walk next time. Oh, that is something I did see the next time on Game of Thrones, and yeah, I guess the deal with Marjorie is going to be coming to a head. You know, is she going to walk? Are they going to just kill all the sparrows? Is there going to be some sort of, you know, religious cleansing going on within the Seven Kingdoms? I mean, it would be nice to see those zealots get taken out, you know, because I'm just personally against religious zealotry. You know, it just bums everybody out. Religious extremism is just like, you know, you can have your religion and do your thing. And like, hey, if it helps you, that's cool. Keep it to yourself. All right. Just keep it to yourself. All right. Don't try to push your shit on other people. That's my whole deal in life. You know, live and let live. So I hope to see some sparrows getting their fucking asses kicked next fucking time, but we'll see. You know. And Valentina. Before we go, I'm going to take Valentina's questions since her audio was messed up. Do you think Bran will be showing what happened in the Tower of Joy? Also, what the hell, Dorne? You know, I mean, since that's the big, you know, catharsis, is it, you know, Rhaegar and Lyanna equals Jon? You know, it's like, I don't know if they will show it. I mean, it would confirm a huge theory, and it would be a kind of a big, I mean, not really a spoiler, because I think we all kind of feel like that's the deal. So I'm not entirely sure if they would or not. That's a really good question. I feel like they'll tease it, but I don't know if they'll actually show it. I would doubt it. And yes, what the hell, Dorne? Like, what the hell, Dorne? Like,
Dorne should be cooler.
Dorne is just like, I was so fucking pumped for Dorne, you guys. I was so
set that up
stoked for
awesome.
Dorne, and I wanted to go there, and I wanted to see the Sun Spear, and I wanted to see the water gardens and the children playing, and I wanted to see all this awesome stuff. And then all they've given me is just garbage. You know, it's just fucking garbage. Like, I just hate Dorne, and like I can't believe I'm saying I hate the sand snakes. Like, what? Like, I would. Well, if I ever go back in time and say, like, you're going to hate the sand snakes in the show, I'd be like, no, they're so cool. Like, why did you ruin a fucking awesome feminine storyline? Like, they were so cool. Like, God damn it. So yeah, and it would be the biggest spoiler for the books. I agree with you, Valentina. So I don't know. I hope that they don't show what's inside the Tower of Joy, honestly, on the show, because I don't want these spoilers for the books, because I'm just a book nerd. I'm a book dork. You know, I've read 3 books in the past, like, I don't know, few weeks, and I got like 2 more in the queue. So like, I don't know, I'm in my book phase right now. Sometimes I do movies, and then I'll get tired of that and I do books, and then I get tired of that and do comics, and then I go back to movies, and it's like a whole fucking thing that it's a cycle. So anyways, thanks everybody for coming on. Thanks to all of you callers. You were beautiful. Thank you for your amazing questions. You guys fucking killed it today. I think we all killed it today. Fucking sad Hodor. I love you, Hodor. You're the best.